What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back again to a Marvel story time. It has been a while, admittedly. Again, there has been big gaps in between episodes. It has not been easy to keep up with all of the Marvel news. We are going to be today recapping all of the Marvel announcements from the SDCC. The one massive announcement and everything else, essentially. You all know what I'm talking about at this stage. But we're going to start with the smaller stuff. They're all three of the projects for next year were talked about heavily. There was teaser footage shown. I'm not going to get into the teaser footage. I'm sort of going to just say some of the new things that was revealed. Obviously, we'll start off first with Captain America 4, Brave New World, because that is the next movie coming up. We officially learnt who Carlo Esposito is going to be playing. He is going to be playing Sidewinder, the leader of the Serpent Society. Obviously, we know that the previous version of this film had all the Serpent Society stuff recorded. Obviously, WWE, Seth Rollins was involved and all that, but there is talk that all of that footage is now gone. It is on the cutting room floor, and chances are Carlo has just become the main event. Essentially, he's going to probably focus mostly on him. We also had a scene where Thunderbolt Ross, Harrison Ford, was telling the world about Tiamat from Eternals, obviously sitting out in the ocean. He revealed that the world should share this new resource that they have found to be within Tiamat, adamantium. Obviously, anybody who knows anything about the X-Men Wolverine knows that's what his claws are made out of. And finally, the MCU is introducing this brand new metal that is said to be stronger than vibranium, apparently, in this film. So that will be a massive plot point. Obviously, Harrison Ford can call for all of the sharing that he wants, but we all know countries all over the world are going to go and try and take that for themselves, a bit like the real world, if we're being honest. We also apparently seen a lot more shots of Harrison Ford as Red Hulk, including him transforming into Red Hulk. And from the word from SDCC, the footage, apparently the CGI is fantastic on Red Hulk, which any of us that watched She-Hulk and seen how bad the CGI was on the Hulks and that, we're glad to hear that, because honestly, the CGI needs to be top notch. I think a lot of these movies should be practical effects now, and things you need to use CGI on, obviously like a Hulk character, they have to, the budget has to be saved to make them top tier. So make everything else as practical as possible and save the money. Because like things like Ant-Man, Quantumania and the Marvels, it was like 95% CGI, the whole movie. And that's where the budget goes. Like, it's a lot more to CGI something than build something. So Captain America 4 is still sounding pretty damn exciting to me. They also they officially brought the leader out on stage, so obviously it's confirmation he's definitely in the movie. Next up is Thunderbolts. First bit of footage for Thunderbolts played. We got Val in the former Avengers tower, former Stark tower. Does that mean she has purchased it? I don't know, but it is a very big deal because it's the first time anyone's been seen inside it since Tony sold it in Spider-Man Homecoming. We also got scenes of like all of the members of the Thunderbolts individually trying to save Bill Pullman's Sentry. If it's not Bill Pullman, I apologise. Trying to save him because he's been kidnapped. Very open quotation marks there. I don't think he's been kidnapped. I think he can probably break it whenever he wants. But I think it shows you all of the individual members feeling, and then obviously they decide they should become a team. We do get footage as well of Ghost from Ant-Man 2 using her phasing ability again. Obviously we assumed she had lost that at the end of Ant-Man 2 after Janet used her powers to absorb up the energy from her. So it is quite surprising that she can phase so easily again, but it's probably more to do with the tech suit she's wearing. It's a brand new suit apparently. Yeah, all of the members will have brand new suits. There wasn't much else discussed. Kevin Feige was asked on stage about, can you finally tell us what the asterisk sign at the end of the Thunderbolts is about, and he revealed nothing. He said he would not reveal that as of yet. I honestly believe that it has that wee sign because they haven't announced a few of the members. I think I would be shocked if the likes of Baron Zemo wasn't in this, and Abomination. It would be very surprising to me, maybe not even as main characters, but if they didn't show up, I would be amazed. Zemo is a very, very big part of the Thunderbolt story in the comics, and you have his character right there. He's locked up by Thunderbolt Ross at the minute, and I'm sure Thunderbolt Ross is too busy being the president now to even really pay attention to it. So they really should get Baron Zemo back, and in my opinion, be the leader of the Thunderbolts, because he was fantastic in Falcon and Winter Soldier, one of the best parts of it. And last up for like the smaller news, Fantastic Four got a new title. It is called The First Steps. Don't know how I feel about that. I think they should have just kept it as the Fantastic Four. I don't think you need like a little subtitle for something like this, but I suppose they're trying to make it different from like the previous iterations of it in 2015 and 2005, trying to set it apart. So if that is the case, then fair enough. We know they're currently filming now, but we were able to get a little bit of test footage of Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards teaching a class, and the word from Comic-Con is that anyone that was worried about how he would play Reed Richards are not worrying as much anymore. It feels like full classic Reed in the scene. The way he's getting on, the way he understands that the kids aren't paying attention and just suggests blowing something up. We also got a scene of Galactus looking in the window of the Baxter building. There have been a few criticisms of that. I've seen people saying about why is Galactus small enough to even fit his eyeballs and his face into the width of a skyscraper building. I understand that. Like, obviously Galactus should be so big that he can hold a planet. He can eat a planet. He should not be small enough to fit into that frame. But I think it'll probably be a thing in this movie where Galactus can change his size. He probably is naturally big enough to eat a planet, be bigger than a planet. He's probably is naturally like that, but you'll probably see him be able to shrink down so he can have a look at planets. You'll probably see him have a bit more of a personality in this than you have in the previous iterations, simply because he'll probably be choosing what worlds to eat and not eat. And I think definitely you will see him at full size in this movie, simply because I think it's sort of common knowledge for all of us that we think that Galactus is going to win in this movie and devour the Earth of that universe. Obviously it's set in a different universe in the multiverse, and then the Fantastic Four will either escape via multiversal portal, or the TVA will grab them last minute and recruit them for the MCU, like a bit like Deadpool was trying to be recruited by Paradox. So something similar to that. So Galactus will be full size, do not be worrying about that. And another thing people were saying as well about all of the interviews that Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal did together at Comic-Con, that their crazy chemistry felt completely like Reed Richards and Sue Storm. It just felt so natural. And honestly, I think that was one of the biggest criticisms, because Pedro Pascal is a bit older. People were worrying, how is he going to connect with Vanessa Kirby? Like, I think they felt like Sue Storm and Reed Richards to me, watching their interviews, watching the little bit of test footage. I've also seen that they're building practical sets for the movie. That has been leaked as well. They have built entire streets from the city that they're going to be filming in. They've built like the car and all from Fantastic Four. They've built like the entire like rooftop of the Baxter building. They're doing it properly. Finally, they're not just going to CGI everything, and hopefully they can keep the cost down, which means any profit they make is full profit. And lastly, I think you know what the last thing is. We got number one, the Russos announced as the directors of the next two Avengers movies. So that was massive in itself. These guys have got Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame on the resumes. Like, in terms of Marvel directors, these are the guys. Like, we all assumed they were all done with Marvel, but they have always said that they would come back for Secret Wars because that is their childhood story. And Secret Wars has struggled to nail down a director, and lo and behold, the Russos are back. But Secret Wars isn't really the big announcement. It was what they renamed the Avengers movie before Secret Wars. It is now called Doomsday. And we all know that that would obviously mean Victor Von Doom. And Victor Von Doom happened to be there. Well, a couple hundred of them on stage at Comic-Con. And the Russos announced that there's only one man that can play Victor Von Doom. Yes, not a variant of someone else. Victor Von Doom is this guy, and lo and behold, Robert Downey Jr. lifts up his mask and the crowd goes wild. Well, the crowd inside goes wild. everybody else on the internet seems to be going mild. It is very much a 50-50 reaction I am seeing everywhere. A lot of people just seem to have not even have been listening to what the Russos said. Everyone has been questioning, if he's just a evil Tony Stark variant, I won't be happy at all. The Russos said he's playing Victor Von Doom themselves. And see, if they were just wrong with their information and there was a 5% chance he was meant to be a Tony Stark evil variant, you can bet your life Kevin Feige will have his ear to the ground gauging reactions, and if he was going to do an evil Tony Stark, he will not be now, because people don't want that. If Downey Jr. really is going to do this, and I'm excited for it, I have no doubt he will be fantastic. I think Downey Jr. is a fantastic actor and he can bring a lot of menacing and nuance to Victor Von Doom. I'm happy for it. Plus, if they go by the comics, and they do have to make him from Latveria, by the way, they cannot just gloss over his backstory. It shouldn't be an issue because Victor Von Doom should have his mask on for 95% of the movie, at least. He should only reveal his face to look like what Tony Stark did in a fight maybe with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And then it'll be a big shock for him and he won't want to fight him and stuff like that. But Doctor Doom should already be established in the universes the way the Fantastic Four is, because Doctor Doom will probably come from that Fantastic Four universe with Pedro Pascal, and it's been confirmed we're not going to see their origin story again. So chances are Doctor Doom, we won't see his origin story again, because the last two movies have butchered it enough. He will just be there. He'll be a multiversal variant of Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom, and I think Downey Jr. will kill it. I think it is poetic justice that in Endgame, Tony Stark saved the MCU, Downey Jr. saved the MCU, and now he is going to be the big bad at the end of the next 2 or 3 phases and try to end the MCU. I think that's just poetic. People saying, oh, it's the safe bet. It's like, Marvel will have known how doubtful fans were about this. This is not safe at all. Like, bringing back Downey Jr. knowing what fans would think is not safe. Trust me, especially if how people are so ready to jump the gun and criticise the MCU. This wasn't anything but safe. This is a brave move. And if they nail this, they really will be back, because people are just waiting for this to fail now. And if Downey Jr. brings what we know he can bring in terms of his acting ability to Victor Von Doom, and he really can be menacing the way he is in the comics, then I'm sorry, like this is perfect, whether people like it or not. People just like to hate on it. Like, realistically as well, you need to look at it. They announced 2 Avengers movies. One of them, Doomsday, is going to have, I'm assuming, Doom as like the main character, and one is Secret Wars. The first one comes out in 2 years' time, less than 2 years. So they are going to have to start filming probably in the next 6 to 9 months. Not a lot of actors out there have like 1 year of their life to spend filming a Marvel project. They just don't. Like, between Doomsday and Secret Wars, you're going to have to be filming back to back the way Infinity War Endgame was. And a lot of and it will take about over a year, like, not including reshoots. A lot of actors like Cillian Murphy, who was rumoured, don't have a year free in their schedule of non-stop Marvel. Downey Jr. went out, he left Iron Man behind, he got his Oscar for Oppenheimer, did a few movies elsewhere, and he got what he wanted, he got his Oscar, and now he can come back, and he knows he's nothing else to prove. He's doing this simply because the story is right. Downey Jr. wouldn't do this unless the story was right. And I also believe he will also play an Iron Man variant in Secret Wars as well. I think you'll have maybe a Doom versus Iron Man fight at some point. And if we don't get a scene in Secret Wars of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and just Robert Downey Jr. as anybody, then the whole thing will be worth it, because it will be such an iconic scene. The 3 faces of 3 different companies, 3 different franchises. It will be amazing. But that's it, guys. I'm sorry I have not been on more to discuss all these rumours. It's probably good, because a lot of the rumours that I was discussing coming up for X-Men or for Deadpool Wolverine didn't pan out. So I'm actually glad that we haven't been just jumping on everything that's been coming out. But thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to keep supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff you guys like to do. And I shall see you on the next one.